In today's video, we're going to answer that question. And the short and simple of it all is, yes, the borders are opening up for teachers. But the requirements, well, those have changed.
Hello, beautiful people. I'm Leah.
I'm Justin.
Thank you for joining us and welcome to our channel.
We're an American expat couple that's been living and working abroad for years, and currently we're in Tainan, Taiwan. A question that we keep seeing time and time again on Facebook pages for expats is, hey, just wondering, when is Taiwan going to open up to ESL teachers? In today's video, we're going to answer that question. And the short and simple of it all is, yes, the borders are opening up for teachers. But the requirements, well, those have changed.
So before we even start this video, first, thank you guys so much for 700 subscribers.
Oh, yeah, wow.
We have gotten so many questions and suggestions for great videos. Please continue to send those to us. We really appreciate the feedback, and you guys give us great ideas on things that you want to know about because we are boots on the ground.
We can get that information for you easily because we're living that lifestyle that you seem to be interested in.
Yeah,
and
so
if you
come be part of the adventure.
Come to Taiwan. It's a lovely place. You're going to enjoy yourself. Taiwan tightened up her borders in March of 2020 because the pandemic was coming on strong, and that's the best way they felt they could deal with it. And it left a lot of restrictions on people who could come in and out of the country. Very few people were allowed in. There were still some. Eventually it opened up enough so that Leah and I could get in, but we could only get in if we had a contract with a school and we worked as ESL teachers.
Even though there were still people that were coming in, it was still kind of vague, and it fluctuated with who was allowed in and who was not allowed. Then we had a level 3 alert.
The borders were tightened up even more, but this time they made a lot clearer, more concise list of who could and couldn't enter in and out of Taiwan. And unfortunately, foreign English teachers, or as what we're called here, FETs, were not allowed on that list, so they couldn't come in, whether they had been hired or whether they were applying for jobs.
Yeah, so everything was pretty much put on hold. Not only were FETs not allowed in, but the TICO office, which processes the visas, were told to put everything on hold, even if they did have a contract or an approval letter or a work permit.
Right, yeah.
And so even though FETs were not allowed, there were still other foreign nationals that were allowed. So professors were allowed to come in. Most recently, students were allowed to come in, but FETs were still not on that list. And so there was a protest that was created where there were signatures that were gathered by many FETs that said we serve a vital role in this economy as well. And it was presented to the Taiwanese government to make a consideration for granting special entry visas.
Yeah, that petition moved pretty quickly. Looks like it may have had an impact.
2 days ago, they were like...
Right, yeah, so the information we're bringing you today is very fresh. It is within the last week that this has been decided. We got it on the very first day it was given. Exactly what you need to do if you want to teach English in Taiwan. How do you get into the country? And we got this information from the very same person who is now a dear friend of ours, Sunday. She was the one who found a way to get us in back in October of 2020 when the borders still weren't completely open. Again, like Leah said, it was pretty vague. The list was inconsistent of who could come and who couldn't, but Sunday found a way, and Sunday has new information for you.
By the way, if you are interested in becoming a teacher, we're going to leave Sunday's contact information. She works for Teach Taiwan. You can also look up that website. But she is so fantastic, and she does a great job of making sure that your needs on what you're looking for your experience in Taiwan is matched as best as possible.
This is going to be a list of requirements that you must meet in order to come into Taiwan as a foreign English teacher. So this is the part where we're going to break a lot of hearts. A lot of disappointment is going to come out of this next statement, but let's be clear. The only people that can get into Taiwan now to teach English are those who have already been issued a work permit and have been waiting for the borders to open. So a lot of you that are hoping to apply, still apply. And then let's see how that process goes for you. There still could be a chance. Sunday worked miracles for us once before.
The first requirement for teachers coming into Taiwan's borders is that you must be fully vaccinated. Your vaccination must be the one that has 2 shots. So if you've taken the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it is not eligible. The next requirement is having a PCR test that is no older than 3 days.
You're going to have to do that no matter what. So that hasn't changed all that much.
You also have to complete the quarantine system for entry. So this is a form that is sent to the Taiwanese government that talks about who you are with all of your personal information, your passport number, where you're going to be staying, and where you will be after you leave quarantine. Once that's been completed, you're going to be required to book your hotel and your flight. One of the things that has changed is that you used to be able to book your hotel and just put it on hold, and then you were able to pay for it once you arrived into Taiwan. That is no longer the case. Your hotel needs to be fully paid for before you arrive into Taiwan. With this being said, there's 2 things. Number 1, it needs to be a government-approved quarantine facility. That link will be left below. And 2,
make sure you understand your quarantine hotel's cancellation policy. That's going to be very important to make sure you have everything in line, so if you come a day early, come a day later than what was intended, you can inform them and quite possibly get a refund. Once you've completed these first couple of steps and met those requirements, you need to send that paperwork to the MOE. It's probably best that you work with your recruiter or your school or your liaison, whoever your coordinator is, for assistance in sending that paperwork directly to the MOE.
So the Ministry of Education, or MOE, is going to be responsible for sending that to the TICO office. Once the MOE has received your information and it has been approved, there will be an official letter that has been created that has your name and your contact information. It will be submitted to the TICO office so that you can be approved for a special entry visa.
That's what your goal in all of this is a special entry visa. That's the only way you're going to be able to cross the border. The TICO office is also going to make sure that your special visa entry is appropriately applied to your visa, whether it's electronically or if they require you to send it physically out to an office somewhere in your home country to get it approved. That might be another option, but that will be their responsibility to instruct you on how to do that.
If you review our other video of what the quarantine process looks like, there are a lot of steps before you can even leave the airport to go to your hotel. The great thing about this is being updated is that you are going to be assigned a contact person that will meet you there and walk you through each and every one of these steps so that you don't have to do it alone. They will be with you through the entire process up until the time that you get into the taxi to go to your quarantine hotel.
So if you want to see what a quarantine looks like in Taiwan, we have provided a very detailed video on our YouTube channel that's linked in this tag above and also at the end of this video. It's a very long video, but it's worth it because it's packed full of useful information. So what do you think about this procedure to get a special entry visa? What do you think about being limited to just the, at this point, Moderna and AstraZeneca vaccinations? I mean, Johnson & Johnson's out the window. What's your opinion about what you have to go through in order to get into Taiwan? Are you still interested? Because we're living a great life here, so we're going to encourage you to, really consider what you need to go through before coming here.
As always, we leave you with this question. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
Remember, it's never too late to get up, get out, and get going.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye.